The sun did not move. That was the first thing. It sat in the centre of the sky like a nail driven through the world, and the world had organised itself around the fact of it. No shadow fell long enough to rest in. Rivers had edges that dried and cracked by midday. Children were born into the light and aged inside it and died with their eyes still squinting. Nobody called this suffering. They had no word for the other thing, the thing that suffering ends in: rest, silence, the particular dark behind the eyes when the body finally lets go. Niame watched from above. He had built this world with patience, shaping each thing in its order: earth, water, animal, human. He had done it carefully. He was not careless. But he had kept one element back, sealed inside a gourd carved from a sacred calabash tree, its lid knotted with gold thread. The gourd sat in his house above the clouds, and it breathed. Not metaphorically, it breathed. Anyone who pressed their ear to it could hear the slow, deep movement of air that had never once been lit by sun. Inside it, night, all of it, every star that had not yet been scattered, the coolness that follows heat, the silence that follows noise, the ancestors waiting just behind a door the living could not yet find. He called his daughter. Asase Ya came quickly. She was the goddess of earth. She carried herself the way the land carries rivers, with a steadiness that does not announce itself. Behind her came her husband, Anansi, who moved the way water moves around an obstacle, sideways, curious, never quite arriving where you thought he was going. Niame held the gourd out. His hands were steady. His face was not. Asase saw it. The tightness around her father's eyes. She had seen that look once before, when the first flood came. He had known it was coming. He had let it come. He had watched the water do what water does, and he had not stopped it, because stopping it would have cost something worse. "Father," she said. He shook his head. "Not yet." "Guard this," he said. "Do not open it, not until I say." "Yes, father," Asase said. Anansi said nothing. He nodded. His eyes were on the gourd. He took it when Niame held it toward them. He felt the weight of it, more than it should have been for its size, and then he felt the pulse inside it. Slow, regular. Something in the gourd was alive, and it knew it was being held, and it was patient about that. It had been patient a long time. Anansi did not like patience. It felt like being managed. They took the gourd home and laid it in a basket lined with raffia and dried prayers. Asase lit no fire near it. She spoke quietly in its presence. She treated it the way you treat an elder who has not yet told you why they came. Anansi watched her do these things. Then he watched the gourd. The world outside continued burning. 2. The weight of the sealed thing. 3 days they carried it. 3 days under the fixed sun, through a land that had no evening, no cool hour, no moment when the air changed and told you the day was done. On the second day, a hunter stopped them on the path. He looked at the cloth-wrapped bundle, and then he looked at Anansi, with the flat eyes of a man who has learned not to ask direct questions of unusual travellers. That thing carries night, he said, not a question. We are carrying it safely, Asase said. The hunter said nothing more. He stepped off the path and let them pass. Behind them, Anansi heard the hunter begin to pray in a low voice. He heard his own name in it. He heard Asase's. He heard the word for trust. He walked faster. On the third night, though it was not night, only the same endless afternoon, they stopped beneath a baobab tree. The tree was old enough that its roots had grown up through the soil in places, like hands reaching for something the tree could not name. Anansi lay down in what shade there was. Asase sat and watched the world the way she always did, steadily, without judgment, noting what changed and what didn't. The gourd sat between them. It breathes, Anansi said. I know. What is inside it? Does it know we are here? Yes, she said. Then it knows we are not Nyame. It knows we are not the ones who sealed it. She turned to look at him then. She had been waiting for this. Why does my father trust us with something he fears? Anansi asked. He had that look. You saw it. He was afraid of something he already knew. Then he will tell us when the time comes. But what if the time comes and we are not ready? What if we need to understand the thing before we are called to protect it? Anansi, I am not saying open it. I am saying we should understand what we are holding. She looked at him for a long time. Then she looked away. That was her answer. He knew what it meant. He ignored it. Read The Gourd of the Night on Amazon.